Hi everyone, it's Ashley. This is an update since I had the news in my HSG that my tube was blocked and I was going to have a tuboplasty. So I had the HSG in the beginning of August. I can't remember what day. And we were waiting until I got my period to schedule the tuboplasty. So, despite, I was told I was going to be ovulating on my right side, which is my bad side, the tubeless side, and that I possibly had a blocked tube, so we didn't really try in August. But I still temped, and I knew when I ovulated, and I still temped. I actually temped, which I usually don't do, all the way through my whole cycle, because usually I get a little too crazy about the numbers towards the end of my cycle, so I just stop temping and wait for AF to come, because I can't stand watching them go up and down all the time. So I temped, and I usually have an 11 or 12 day luteal phase, and I got to day 13, and I thought, I never get to day 13, I'm going to test. That was September 9th. So, no, not September 9th, September 10th. And it was positive. It was 6 in the morning or something like that, and I woke my husband up and I was like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. I took a digital and that was positive, and he was really tired, but he was like, why were you pregnant? How did this happen? So, we were really excited. I was obviously nervous and shocked, but I thought it was a miracle. It was a miracle. How could I get pregnant? So, I was 3 weeks and 6 days when he found out. So my weeks turn over on Thursdays. So, the Thursday, so I was 14 DPO. That would be the day of my missed period, I'm assuming. I guess. That's not me, but for the average person. And I went to get my HCG beta tested, and it came back at 114. Or 116. Something I think it was 114. And then that was a Thursday, and then I did it again Saturday morning. So 48 hours later, and it came back at 262. So that was great. I like to sneeze. So I was told that a week to 10 days after my second beta, I would have an ultrasound done, because they wanted to make sure it was not in my tube. So that was scheduled for September 23rd. And I was going to be 5 weeks and 5 days. So it was so long. In retrospect, it's not that long, but almost 2 weeks after I got a BFP, it was my first ultrasound, which is obviously early for a lot of people, and I would never want to do this if we hadn't had the ectopic pregnancy. I would have waited for as long as I could to see something, so that I could actually see something. So I went in, today's Thursday the 25th. I went in on Thursday, and was so nervous. So I went on Tuesday. I was so nervous, and like, the nurse was like, "You're nervous?" I know. I'm really nervous. I just wanted to see something in my uterus and not in my tube. That's all I wanted. So, no, Lily. My cat's trying to walk in front of the thing. So it's obviously a transvaginal ultrasound because you can't see anything over the abdomen. She immediately puts it in, and she puts it in and immediately says, "There it is, it's right there. It's right where it should be. It looks like a gestational sac." And I said, "Great," and we got a picture, and she said, "This is what it's supposed to look like, and it's right where it's supposed to be." So I went and talked to the doctor, and we just talked about, she's like sighing. She's like, him talking about my dates and stuff, because because of all the stress with this HSG, I definitely ovulated later than usual. So he said, we're going to do some blood work, but we won't call you unless there's a problem. So that was Tuesday. I went to pick my son up, and I dropped my son off at school, picked him back up, took him to this library program, and while we were at the library program, I got a call, and I didn't know it. I missed it. So I got the voicemail, and it's the reproductive specialist, and they're like, we want to put you on these 2 progesterones, give us a call back so we can get everything worked out. So I call back, we finally get everything worked out, they're going to deliver it so I can start taking it tonight. It's going to be delivered between 7 and 11 p.m. It's ridiculous. But whatever, they were bringing it from Brooklyn, so then we go to the park, my son's playing, and I'm talking, and we met with a friend there. And then we got home, and it was about 5:30. And I had been spotting the past 2 days, and I was hoping that the progesterone would help stop that. Because it wasn't bleeding, it was definitely just spotting. But it still freaked me out, but I was still trying to stay positive that things would be okay and that would be normal. So I got home at 5:30, and I went to the bathroom, and this time I was bleeding. And then there were little tiny clots. And my doctor's office had closed. They have other offices on the island, so I called it said if this is an emergency, call this. So I called that, and I got to a different office on the island, and it's far away. I could go there, but it's far away. So I talked to them, and then she said, call in the morning and go in and get another ultrasound, but call back if it gets any worse. So I called my husband and all this, and later on it started to get worse, bigger clots. And so I knew it was over. I'm sorry. My husband was trying to stay positive. And I said, "You're not seeing what I'm seeing when I go to the bathroom." So I called them back, and I talked to another woman, and she said, "You can go to the emergency room if you want. Definitely if you start cramping," because I wasn't having any cramps or anything. "Definitely if you start cramping or heavy bleeding." It still wasn't even heavy bleeding. It was only when I used the bathroom. Definitely go to the ER. But right now, you don't need to go to the ER. Just go in tomorrow. So, I decided just to stay home Like, there's nothing they could do at the ER other than me pay $100 for them to do an ultrasound and be told there that I was having a miscarriage, or I could wait for the next day. So I went to bed like at 9 something, woke up an hour later and went to the bathroom. They still hadn't come with the progesterone. So we waited. It was like basically like I took a nap, and I waited with my husband for the delivery. And it came a little bit past 11, and I took the progesterone pill orally and 2 progesterone suppositories vaginally, which in hindsight was just a waste. But they told me to do it anyway. So the next day I went in, yesterday, Wednesday, I went in. I tried, they open at 6:30, and I tried calling them starting at 6:30. I set my alarm, and it just kept saying they were still closed. So I can't remember what time, just a little bit before 7, I said to my husband, I'm just going to get dressed and I'm going to start driving there. They open at 6:30, so I'm just going to start driving there. And I'll keep calling on the way, but at least I'll be there. So I walked in, and the woman asked me why I was there, and I immediately started crying and all that. Ooh, sorry. And they kind of just took me back and put me in a room, kind of rushed me in there. Quickly did the ultrasound. The ultrasound was a different guy. It was a different person. It was a man, and so there was him and another person, another female nurse in the room. And he basically looked around, and I knew when I could see the ultrasound screen. He said, I just don't see anything. I think it's gone. So Tuesday, we had a sack. That very same day, it was gone. I just don't know why this keeps happening. 3 babies. It's a lot to lose. I don't know if I can keep losing them. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know. I talked to the doctor yesterday, or I think it was a nurse practitioner, and she said she'd like to do lots of detailed blood work to see if something's going on in my body. All of these, my 3 losses have been all different. The first one I lost at almost 11 weeks. The second one was ectopic, and this one I lost at almost 6 weeks. Thankfully, this one seems to be happening naturally, and I won't have to be in the hospital, or, fingers crossed, won't lose a lot of blood. Obviously, I've never done it naturally, like I said, and so I'm a little bit confused as to when it's kind of over, and when it's just the bleeding of, after a miscarriage. I go in on Saturday for another ultrasound and blood work. They took blood work yesterday, and they said it had dropped from the day before. So hopefully my HCG will drop fairly quickly. I don't want to stall out like I've seen a lot of people do, and have to wait and wait and wait. My miscarriage in April, 2013, it took me 4 weeks to get my period back, and then my ectopic, it took me 5 weeks. So, we'll see. But that's my update, I guess. I won't be having a tuboplasty. looks like my tube probably just spasmed during the HSG. And I've had another loss. That's it. So, bye ladies.